What's up, guys? Welcome back to Just JP. My name is Justin, and today we are listening once again to Genesis with the song The Carpet Crawlers. This is from their 1974 album, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And while I'm not listening to the album just yet, I am going to steal just a little sample, just a little like Sam's Club, Costco sample size. This is a viewer's choice by Scott Walter over on Twitter. So, Scott, thank you so much for the recommendation. I know that a lot of you have mentioned that because this is a very conceptual album, I've looked at the track listing and there's a lot of tracks in this one. If one day I was to do this album, how would you like me to go about it? You guys have mentioned that some of these are better grouped together. So let me know what the best way to approach this album for you guys and your listening pleasure would be. Let me know. You guys can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. I love hearing from you. And even if I don't respond to every single comment, because especially on these Genesis videos, it's really hard to keep up, I will read them. I will at least read them. If you see a heart on your comment, even if you don't, I've read it. I may not have something to say, but I've read it. Let's do it. This is The Carpet Crawlers by Genesis. That was really relaxing. I wasn't expecting relaxing. I don't know why Carpet Crawlers made me think of like something horror related, so I was expecting the music to be a little heavier, but it wasn't. It was actually really smooth, really relaxing the whole way through, especially the way that Banks and eventually Steve Hackett with the guitar, how the melody is so strong, it's so calm, and even though the song is like very casually building up, it's like a relaxing kind of build up. It's almost like waiting to go to sleep, like you're building up to go to sleep. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a build up into relaxation, which feels really nice for the mood that the song sets. The vocals, Peter Gabriel, very smooth for like the first, third of the song. And then after the drum kicks in, when they're repeating, we've got to get in to get out, or whatever. I'm almost 100% sure it's Phil Collins in the background, with the background vocals just filling it in. And I really like the duality that their voices have. I like the relationship that their voices have. They work really well together, I feel. Notably, Gabriel and Collins, their dynamic together works really well for the vocal lines. Peter Gabriel has this very strong narrative sense when he's writing, when he's singing, in his delivery. Everything comes across like he's telling a story, which I'll get into a little bit with the lyrics themselves. But I do appreciate that because I like a good story in music. I appreciate a good story in general. So when it's delivered in a way that's really appealing and the story seems like it'll be interesting, I'm all for it. Yeah, and I just took a peek at the When in Rome 2007 DVD. Phil does a pretty nice job on this song too. I do like the simple but filling keyboard line that Banks plays throughout the song. It's a great setup to what comes next, and the build-up in their melody is as expertly done as it always is. Now that I'm really trying to focus more on individual instruments and everything, is that with Hackett on the guitar, I can hear how maybe he's considered an underrated guitarist. I don't know, because he usually plays subtle in a way that works towards the song. He plays, if he needs to play in the background a little more, then he's going to do it. If he's going to play in the foreground or a solo, he's going to knock your socks off. But regardless, he's always playing for the song, not for himself. And that unselfishness, if that's a word, in a musician is, I don't want to say hard to find, but it's not the most common thing because everyone wants to be heard, especially when it comes to instruments like the guitar. You know, the bass, unfortunately, they're always kind of in the background, but the guitar is something that's usually expected to really lead, to really be in the front of the song. And Hackett knows when to step up and when to step back, but he always does it gracefully. He knows where he needs to be in the song. Let me get into the lyrics a little bit because I know that this is a concept album, and for once I did a little bit more research, not a ton. I read like a paragraph on what the story of the album is about. It's a concept album about Raul, I don't know how to pronounce his name, a Puerto Rican youth from New York City who embarks on a journey of self-discovery and encounters bizarre incidents and characters along the way. And same thing, that goes right back to what I said about the storytelling element of Genesis. It seems that Gabriel had a very strong narrative-driven focus in everything that he did in the band. So getting into the lyrics, there is lamb's wool under my naked feet. The wool is soft and warm, gives off some kind of heat. A salamander scurries into flame to be destroyed. Imaginary creatures are trapped in birth on celluloid. The fleas cling to the golden fleece, hoping they'll find peace. So immediately as I'm listening to the song and reading the lyrics, I'm getting the idea of literal fleas, right? Fleas, pests, bugs that are found in carpets typically, and whenever someone passes by, they'll hop on them, on a host, and, basically stick with them. They'll bite them, they'll stay on them, and use that as their food supply. They'll feed off of that. And obviously, besides the line where it says, like, the fleas cling to the golden fleece, it seems that there's a lot of references to literal carpet and fleas, like, waiting to hop onto a host. The carpet crawlers heed their callers, we've got to get in to get out, right? So the fleas, or the carpet crawlers, have to get onto a host, and while that host is walking out of wherever they are, then they're out. So the fleas, the carpet crawlers, have to get in or on someone to get out of whatever situation they're in. Mild-mannered supermen are held in kryptonite, and the wise and foolish virgins giggle with their bodies glowing bright. Through the door, a harvest feast is lit by candlelight. It's the bottom of a staircase that spirals out of sight. So it seems that these carpet crawlers are stuck in some sort of situation, some sort of room, whatever that meaning may be, and they need to get onto these mild-mannered supermen, these wise and foolish virgins, people that aren't paying attention, people that are more maybe self-absorbed with their own intentions, their own things, to not notice what's going on around them. So if I'm taking that into account, then I'm thinking on a society level, and maybe like the carpet crawlers are basically people that need to latch on to more powerful people or follow in the footsteps of more powerful people in order to get out of their situation. I'm going to take it a step further and think that this is relating to poverty. Fleas are usually obviously looked down on. They're like the lowest of the low when it comes to bugs, besides roaches. So these people that are considered fleas, they're lowest. The only way for them to get out of their situation is to find themselves a host, to latch themselves, follow in close proximity to someone more powerful, perhaps more rich, and somehow that'll get them out. I gotta say, one of my favorite lines and verses in the song is when they say, "There's only one direction in the faces that I see. It's upward to the ceiling where the chamber is said to be. Like the forest, fight for sunlight that takes root in every tree. They are pulled up by the magnet, believing they're free." I just really like the visual of a forest or like trees fighting for sunlight and trying as hard as they can to reach for the sunlight to grow even bigger and bigger, thinking that they're gaining freedom, thinking that they're getting somewhere, where in the end they're all rooted just the same and they're not going anywhere. Interesting. So maybe there's a hopelessness factor in this. I don't know. Interesting song. Now, if I look at the actual story on this album, it says that during this time, Rael's flashback ends and he finds himself in a long red carpeted corridor of people crawling towards its exit via a spiral staircase. And then I guess it goes on in the story. So I'm not 100% sure where, if I'm right exactly or not. I know that this seems to be more of a literal meaning and translation that's written into the concept and story of the album. But I always think that that probably relates to something bigger. I did enjoy this song though, so if anything, I liked it a lot more than Fleas. Scott, thank you so much for the recommendation. I really did enjoy the song, and I can only assume that this song flows relatively well into the next one, and the song that preceded, Carpet Crawlers, flows very well into this one, it being a concept album, and you guys mentioning that I need to listen to at least a section of songs. You got a little taste, so hopefully you enjoyed it. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, you know what to do down below, etc., etc., etc. Do you guys get tired of me saying that? I feel like I kind of have to in case people haven't watched YouTube. You know, it's 2020. I feel like people know what to do. It's just found its way into my ending spiel. Okay, I'm done. Have a great night. I'll see you later. Bye.